Good morning, everybody. This is Pip Sniper J, or just simply J. It's 8:47 a.m. It is Monday, the 12th of January of 2026, and this is going to be something new that I'm doing for everyone. Normally, I just share minds and ideas with everyone here as time goes, and that's kind of how I built the little traction that I do have. I've been doing this for a while. I mainly trade technicals. I'm not much of a computer guy or anything like that. So please, excuse me about that. And please just bear with me. I'm going to do my best to kind of explain how I go about things. It's a lot easier for me to type it out than explain it, but a little about me. As you can see, I joined the trading world around this time. I just trade mainly technicals. I definitely use fundamentals, but I'm more of a dynamic intraday trader. Fancy talk for just I'm in it throughout the day, but normally I don't stay in it no later than 10-11, because the two pairs that you're about to see, that you can see on top, they're mainly like end of London to New York or whatever. Beginning of London, into New York. And, most pairs die out around noon, and then the rest of the day is just kind of meh. All the opportunity is really in the daytime, or in the morning, rather. But like I said, I've never really done this before. I am excited because, I help a lot of people on their trading journey. I've had quite a few people check it out. Again, not the biggest guy or whatever, but I've been able to help out a bunch of people. And even on my page alone, I'm out here literally telling you how to approach it, like how to trail the stop loss, how to find your stop loss, how to project targets, hit them, all that. I've been doing this for a long time, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to actually just do the breakdowns. UJ, I guess, although not friendly, certainly more friendly than US30. And excuse me, it's cold down here. I just kind of did this on a whim because a lot of people have been asking me to start sharing my stuff with the world, so I will. But basically, UJ is the easier trading asset compared to US30, and it's much more. Also, I realize it's much more easy for me to just do this, and it's on YouTube. My students can just reference it on YouTube, and I can just also share it with the world. It's just two birds, one stone, whatever. I don't do signals. I don't do none of that stuff. I simply just trade for the love of the game, and I've decided to expand and bring it here. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I've been trading for a while. I started 2019, and the first 2 years were kind of just like whatever, like everyone's journey for the most part. Some people get lucky, find a mentor. Mine was kind of drastic, lost 15-20K between just trading my own money. Eventually there was like props, and I was losing to that too, and eventually I got to the other side of all of that. And I've been doing okay for a few years, and I'm very sharp at what I do, and I just want to share with everybody. So without further ado, this is going to be like a daily outlook series. I believe that's the best way for me to teach everyone what it is I see, how to go about it, so on and so forth. But yeah, so we'll just let me remove these fibs. Fibs is just market retracement. So point A right here, point B. I'll remove this in a second, but just while it's here, I'll show you. Point A, point B. It's just something where as the price moves, highest point to here, or even previously, let's say right here, based on this area, because this is the highest point in that area. Fibs is the extending points of the market to show you possible retracements. You could see, and I will obviously talk about concepts like this in future videos, but this is just some light knowledge for those who may already understand. But 61.8 goes the retracement number. usually that leads straight into 61.8. You know, obviously there's market structure, right? So you're gonna have your higher highs, higher lows, whatever. But assuredly, you know, maybe this one's a higher high, this one's a lower high, but this is higher low to this one. And then even though you got this lower high, you got this higher low, so it could tell you that, okay, they're still respecting structure, it's still respecting my trend line. You know, it's still flowing with my EMA, SMAs, and all that. But anyways, let's start from the top. I'm just going to give you my projections, and based on what we see, we can go from there. Since this is the first video, I'm just going to start here. Overall, when you're looking at the monthly time frame, I mean, very clearly bullish, as you can see, just moving up. My EMA, SMA crossover happened here back in around November. Since then, we have been bullish. This has been the lowest point in the market since then, essentially, if you compare. Whoops, but you kind of get the idea right there. Boom. That is certainly the lowest point it's been. From there, it's just been up. So from the monthly one perspective, we're bullish. Same idea here. You see, you could draw a trend line just right there if you wanted to, or however it may be, but around right here, that's when the EMA's cross bullish. As you can see, structure is clearly bullish up here. Is that, and just so you know what EMA, SMA are, excuse me, essentially this green one is price. That is the average price as it flows. That's why it's so tight with the actual candlesticks all the time. And then there's the trend itself, like the price trend overall, like the market, it's trend or whatever. Yep, and that's my EMA and that's my SMA. So on the weekly, we are also bullish. Again, I'm gonna get better at these. Just bear with me. Just I guess partake in the knowledge for now. But you look right here, same concept on the daily. Here, more or less, we had this area of interest where it over a very long period of time, from like December 2023 to even like this point, we're still kind of off this bounce. You can see here we did have this crossover on the daily aspect, still bullish. So you know, overall on the higher time frames, what I'm doing is I'm assessing the larger aspect or viewpoint of what's going on and understanding the general direction. Why is this significant? Because now you understand, okay, if I'm looking for a sell, it's going to be a very short-term sell, because overall the market's moving up. So you always want to be in the direction that the market is moving overall. That's what they mean by follow the trend. A lot of people just think it's like this, follow the trend. No, it's more like this, follow the trend. You see, the signs have been here. This is from the daily. And look how it reflects on the monthly. You see? Anyways, that's just kind of that perspective. Again, US30 is going to be a bit more complex. I'm not going to take this markup off because this is an advanced pair. You shouldn't be trying to trade this pair if you don't know too much. So this one's just going to be more like, I'm going to kind of just explain it as it is. I'll kind of obviously explain whatever, because some people have SMC concepts or whatever, but I'll make it universally understandable. From there, we can go onwards, and I can adjust that to however you guys may understand it over time. But we start on the 4 hour. I think the 4 hours cleaner. I use time frame correlation, which is essentially putting time frames together to get a full perspective. So you can see here, you kind of got this move here. If I draw this square right here, because this is really what's most relevant, but this is kind of important in the sense of what direction were you flowing in. Is it going to continue? Like if it was, let's say, consolidating more or less like this, you know, like kind of like lightly ranging or whatever right here, boom, and then just same idea here. Like if you draw that channel, then it would be like, okay, if it just kept going that way, maybe I wouldn't be confident in like a buy or whatever. But right here, if you look at that and then you kind of break it down, that's that same zone, what's relevant. And now you can see, break it down further, see what's going on. You can be like, okay, well, one thing's for sure, we're consistently making higher lows, right? Another thing you can notate is, hey, we potentially might not have the move here, because you see these look like they could potentially cross in. They haven't. You're not supposed to guess, but you know, you keep that in mind or whatever. Additionally, you know, there's tools, right? Like, let's say Fibonacci retracements, for example. You're overall bullish, you can go right here, boom, boom, kind of perceive this. Overall price is kind of just bouncing around 78.6, 61.8. That could indicate that that is going to continue. The most important part of all of this really is if you are bullish as well, because I am, you just want to make sure this level is broken before you're considering entries. In an ideal scenario, that doesn't always happen. You kind of get something looking like that, where it breaks, it retests to solidify that strength, because then it became from resistance to a support level and go off. You don't ever just want it to be, it's never going to go kind of like that. It's always going to be the opposite. It's always going to kind of like, was it this one? Yeah, whatever. It's going to always be kind of like that. That is an ideal scenario for me, and that's called a breakout opportunity. Overall, giving you my projection just to not take too long, I would draw it right about here, my fibs here to here. I'll change this here. What I'm doing right now is I'm finding my major levels. These major levels is where price has had big movements recently. I would say overall here, this average of these two. Orange is my indicator for the hour. I would go into my 4 hour. This is a bit different. Notice how right here is still kind of relevant. We got that big move here, with that dip here. We got this movement here. But you see it's kind of just like that. In the 1 hour, I guess you could even go so far as, if you want to make it even more relevant, you can kind of say right here, in between, right? In between. In between's okay, because if you go into the candlesticks, you see all that data you would have never caught. This is the same data, but that data you wouldn't have caught where these prices can bounce is right here. Notice how price is bouncing off that area. That could mean this could go down, or it could just be right here, respecting this level, because we're getting higher lows consistently. Maybe that could be an indication of a bullish move. Things like that, you just got to kind of be open-minded to perceive it. But yeah, so there's a couple confluences. Firstly, the crossover, and it's been bullish since. Secondly, the trend line, how it's respecting the trend line. Thirdly, higher lows, and for the most part, higher highs. Ideally, I would want to see it break this area before I consider buys, and my buys would be targeted to here, but don't expect it to be a smooth ride. Maybe a day or two, potentially in a day. You know, I've hit big trades in days like that. Overall, if you want to actually take money out the market as an intraday trader like myself, and you want to have a better trade, I'd probably just aim for here. You know, take your 30, 40 pips. What is this? 156, blah, 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 1581, for about 50 pips. You know what I mean? It'll probably get about 30 pips. If you see resistance at 30 pips, or it's kind of retracing at 30 pips, you can pull out, because, you know, 30 pips is a good, solid catch. Most people can't catch 30 pips in a day. And yeah, that's my projection. About 4 or 5 confluences pointing bullish, and my next target is right here. This is my next target. Now, for US30, I'm getting a bit more advanced. I'm gonna be a bit more quicker. Don't want to take too long. I see I've been recording for about 13 minutes. Don't want to take too long. But I will be doing these Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then Tuesdays and Saturdays. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet, so maybe I'll do this for like a week or two, find out that rhythm, and then decide what those can be, because I want it to be obviously value packed. You know, I'm not trying to make money off you guys, but I want to sauce you guys up like I've been saucing people up for a minute. And yeah, so this one's a bit more, I guess, tricky in a way, but I can make it very simple, so don't worry. Recently, we had this newfound level in structure. It's a newfound level of structure because of the fact that, as you can see, price has progressed here from a major jump. All that volume was simply stopped here. As you can see, it took off again, once again stopped here. So there's obviously a level of support here. On top of that, it was previously a level of resistance. So because of one, and then also this jump right here, actually, because it was aggressive price action here, because we were getting a little bit of a pullback, and then it took off in that same zone. 3, 4, that confirmed itself to be an area of interest or a newfound level of structure. overall here we have a much more grander level of structure too. That probably reflects on a higher time frame. As you can see, it does. As you can see, it surely does. And furthermore, same idea. We got this nice little trend here, price being respected. If you want to be more technical, like, hey, whatever, I don't believe in that one. I mean, sometimes price is clean enough where you have multiple, right? So as you can see here, same exact thing. We've got 1, 2, I would count that as 3, 4. If you want to be even more specific than that, then we can just go like this. And right here, we've got 1, 2, that is 3, because that's just simply a rejection. 3 inside down, and then just pulled up. That's just simple price action. You know what I mean? This is a double bottom, technically anyway, since it's on a 4-hour, which is official data. That is a double bottom. So that is valid. 1, 2, 3, 4. So trend line, EMA, that's the third confluence. Fourth confluence being my fibs, where it's coincidentally, or should I say intentionally, because I don't think it's coincidental at this point. I've been seeing this for so long. Where this area of resistance became area of support is also my 38.2 on my fibs. I am mostly a technical trader, so this is just telling me that price is going to have a strong movement. As you can see here, it had that strong movement once, and then it found this level of resistance, came back, found this level of support, and then same thing here. So we almost have a channel of some sorts, but it's certainly much more bullish. I was gonna do the channel, but you get the idea. Boom, boom. Certainly got that bullish volume. As you can see, this could potentially be that higher low. Maybe, maybe not. It's still, you know, barely 9 o'clock. But here is where I would want to see a break. It's kind of in the same trajectory as UJ, and it'd be the same concept. 27% is kind of like where I would want to go. But I know US30 is very volatile all the time. So if it, you know, smashes this target, you can do partials and just continue your way up here. And honestly, one thing you should understand is do not be greedy. If at any point after here to here you get any form of pushback or anything, just take your profits, pull out the market. Trading is about getting paid. With that being said, let me pull up my Discord. If you go here, I do have a server where I've been teaching for a few years. It's the Profit Rocket Crew. Let me go server setting. Whoop, not server settings. Let me go. How do I do this? Server profile. There you go. As you can see, established November 2023. Let's make the banner orange. 2023. 8 people are online currently, 22 members. There used to be hundreds of members. I filtered them out. Might open it up again. This is really where we share our sauce. You know, we got some people that do trade. This is like a prop challenge and stuff. Other people doing their thing. This is me just sharing it. You know, we have automatic things that if you don't essentially it's a cool hub. We've been trading off for many years. We have a lot of knowledge too. You're more than welcome to come like hang out or whatever. But we really just focus on trading, sharing ideas and stuff. Same thing is here, but you know, a lot more stuff to share. You know, I've made a lot of people into great traders. And yeah, feel free to follow this profile. If you like what you see, you don't gotta subscribe, but just give me a like, you know, help support me. I don't really need any money or anything, but I'd like to help people out. And yeah, like check these guides out, you know, your guides to candlestick analysis. These are all me through my years, you know, and I've shared a lot of these in 2024. So, you know, I've been MIA for a little while in terms of like teaching people and stuff. I've just been sticking to my server, like I said, and just kind of crushing it with them. So yeah, I mean, like, feel free to tap in or whatever, but that is it. I hope you guys have a good day. It's 9:07. Hopefully this uploads in time. I mean, I don't even know what that time frame's like, but whatever. Peace out.